This was week 4 at the Hitch House. We were only supposed to be here for a couple of days to get our base plate installed on our towed vehicle, but the dealership ran into a few issues, and that included puncturing the oil pan of the vehicle when they were installing the base plate, having some issues with our Oasis hot water system. A pump that was supposed to have been replaced was not replaced correctly, and so the heating system failed. I guess the biggest issue was the awning. Apparently it inexplicably extended while it was being brought into a service bay for servicing, and that caused damage, and we're still waiting for the parts. So hopefully the parts will arrive before the end of October so that we can be on our way to the United States. So at this point in time, we were told that we would have to wait for another 2 weeks for the parts to arrive, so we decided that we would pull up our jacks, leave the dealership, and make our way to Sherkston Shores. And this was the first time towing the Lincoln behind our coach, so we did take a little bit of time to ensure that the towed vehicle was all set up and configured properly, that our tow bar was connected properly, etc. So we took a little longer leaving the dealership than we expected. I was hoping to be out by 9. We were out closer to 11 o'clock. But we made our way, and there we are, leaving the Hitch House on Highway 11, making our way to Sherkston Shores, about a 3-hour drive from the dealership. Turned out to be a beautiful day for most of the drive, and although I didn't really notice the fall colors as much, as I made my way south, I was more concerned, I think, about the tow vehicle behind me tracking okay, and it was tracking just fine. But as you can see, beautiful fall colors at this time of year. The reds and the yellows were quite brilliant on the way down. We couldn't go all that far without doing a fueling stop, so we went here to Husky, which was maybe 40-50 kilometers from the dealership, fueled up. And then we had this little hiccup, not really sure what wound up happening, but our original exit was blocked, and we found ourselves almost at the U.S. border before finding a way to get over to Sherkston Shores. Would not have been much fun, I think, showing up at the U.S. border saying, well, actually, we were trying to get to Fort Erie, and our original exit was closed. But we did recover, and we finally made our way over to Sherkston Shores. Here's the turn. You can see a sign there. I'm not sure if you make it out, but it said 5 tons per axle was a limit. Our coach is clearly well above the 5 tons per axle. Here is Sherkston Shores. We arrive at the visitor gate, and I let the attendant at the booth know that it's time for us to check in. Only about 4 weeks late, mind you, but we were given the all clear to make our way into the resort. It's a huge place. I've not seen one of this size before. And actually, it's pretty nice. I mean, when we first arrived, we weren't overly thrilled with it. But we've been here a couple of days now, and it's very quiet where we are. And actually very nice. Nice place to walk around, and not a bad place to wait for a couple of weeks before our parts arrive. But what that means, of course, for us is that we have to go all the way back to the dealer and then come all the way back down to the border again. So that will cost us probably in the neighborhood of about $400 or $500 just in terms of fuel costs and the toll fees to use the highways that we use. Anyway, as we're coming to Sherkston Shores, you can see it has lots of entertainment activities for families. It really is a family-oriented resort, but at this time of year, there's very few people here. But they have a water park, they have a paintball area, an on-site Boston pizza. I mean, it really is, if you had children, this would be a great place to come and take them. Lots of speed bumps, though. That's one thing I noticed about traveling through this area, is that you will not travel very quickly if you're making your way into Sherkston Shores. Nicely finished, though. You can see little details, the white fence on the side here. And again, we found ourselves, thinking that the property was actually quite well taken care of, and a lot of potential. We got lost on the way over to our site, so this turn here, we actually wound up spending about 5 or 10 minutes trying to figure out where we should go from here. But we finally did figure it out, and this is our area of the park, if you like, where we were going to be positioned for the next couple of weeks. A couple more speed bumps to get through before we get to the site, but there it is off in the distance, and shortly we'll make our way to the site. We have a few things to do in the next week and a half before we pick up our jacks and go back to the dealer. But in the meantime, this will be our home for the next little while. So Lorraine hops out, make sure that I don't hit anything on the way into the site. This was a very straightforward pull-through site, very long, not difficult at all to navigate in. But it's always good to have a spotter just in case. And part of what Lorraine does is, as I come into the site, she'll help me to line up the coach with the service pedestal, which you can see to the left of the screen. And there it is. We made it to Sherkston Shores, safe and sound. Definitely safe and sound. I cleared everything, and Lorraine will give me the all clear.